From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Hannah Mordeau, and this is your News 8 Daily for Friday, September 5th. It is a cool start outside. We're going to warm up a little bit, though, get to the mid to upper 70s, so going to be similar feel as yesterday, but we're going to have some winds in place. Gusts could get up to 20 to 25 miles per hour. New on Daybreak, an early morning shooting downtown has left 2 women wounded. It happened on Meridian, just south of Georgia Street. Police say the call came in about 3 this morning. IMPD tells us the women say they were on the sidewalk when they got into some kind of an argument or a fight with a man, and the man shot them and ran away. No word yet on how badly they're hurt or if police know their shooter and who it was. We'll have more on this developing story as we get it on wishtv.com. A shooting on the far east side of Marion County has left a man dead. It happened early yesterday evening in a neighborhood just west of 38th and Mithofer. Officers found the man wounded and say he died at the hospital. Police ask you to call if you have any information that can help homicide detectives. New numbers from IMPD show a significant drop in violent crime. One key example, the data shows murders are down by nearly 25% from last year. News 8 government reporter Garrett Bergquist breaks down the numbers and talks to leaders about keeping them down.
Let's begin with homicides. IMPD counts 105 since the beginning of the year. That's down nearly 24% compared to last year and by nearly half since 2021. Those numbers include accidental and self-defense shootings, among other things. 84 of those homicides were murders. That's the first time this decade Indianapolis has had fewer than 100 murders in the first 8 months of the year.
All those things are because of the community, their police department, and social services, and those boots-on-the-ground community-based organizations working together to impact what we can impact in our sphere of influence in the world.
IMPD numbers show non-fatal shootings are down as well. So are robberies, total violent crimes, and property crimes. That's compared to this time last year as well as since 2021. Reverend Dr. Charles Harrison says those numbers match what he's seeing on the ground with Indy 10-Point Coalition.
Things are starting to get better. You know, we still have some challenges out there, but at least we can say as a city we're heading in the right direction.
Harrison says the key now is to reduce the number of young people carrying guns and to get more young people to resolve their disputes peacefully. The most recent Gallup survey shows nearly half of Americans still say their area has more crime than a year ago. Both Harrison and Bailey say perceptions of crime are as important as the raw numbers.
When you see all the guns on the streets and you see people, walking into gas stations with guns and you see guns on them as people are in public, then people, are afraid and they're concerned about that.
We have to get back to some of the basics that we've maybe set aside for the sake of reducing violent crime. There's nuisance-related crimes that we have to get back to. As we move forward, and those are things we can do as we improve our staffing numbers. But still our primary focus is reducing violent crime and keeping our communities safe. But I certainly understand the feeling of crime and the perception of crime.
Bailey says people should continue to report crimes or information related to them to IMPD so that officers can address them. I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
New on Daybreak, an early morning fire leaves 2 firefighters hurt and a family without a home. It happened just after midnight in a home just west of 79th and Dean Road on the northeast side of Indianapolis. IFD tells us that the family of 4 got out okay and that the firefighters suffered minor injuries. No word yet on what caused the fire. Your statewide news network covers Evansville, where police say one young person shot another to death. Police are calling it an accident. They're not saying how old either person is. Police say yesterday afternoon one of them was handling a gun they thought was unloaded, but it fired, killing the victim, a boy. Investigators say the young shooter and their parents face preliminary charges of reckless homicide and dangerous possession of a firearm. Happening today, high schools in Indiana and across the country expect some students to walk out of classes at noon today. It's a coordinated demonstration calling on lawmakers to make gun laws stronger. Students Demand Action is organizing the demonstrations. The group lists walkouts at North Central, Shortridge, Heron, Greenwood, Franklin Central, and Logansport. Indianapolis organizers say the students will gather outside the State House for a demonstration. IPS says any student who is part of it must have their parents' permission. Indiana's Attorney General says that he's ready for a legal battle over redistricting if lawmakers and the governor go forward with it. IT Mate's Tim Spears talked to Todd Rokita.
A spokesperson with the Indiana Democratic Party tells me there are discussions right now around a possible lawsuit in response to redistricting. While the Attorney General does not have any say in drawing new maps, he's actively advocating for it and ready to defend it in court.
Right now, if you look at across the nation, the Hoosier voter viewpoint is being underrepresented.
Attorney General Todd Rokita wants to see Indiana counteract what he sees as bad data.
When you're fixing Indiana's maps to compensate for another state's maps, does that actually fix the problem, or does that just double down on it?
Well, you can't, it's the old adage, fight fire with fire.
The Census Bureau has said its 2020 survey undercounted populations in 6 states, predominantly Southern and Republican-leaning, while it overcounted populations in 8 states. 5 of those voted Democratic in the 2024 presidential election.
Does just simply redrawing maps actually fix the data, though?
No, it doesn't fix the data, but it compensates for the bad data.
The census was done during the first Trump administration. That makes no sense to me. I don't think that argument holds water, frankly.
Over Zoom, Democratic State Representative Carrie Hamilton called the redistricting push blatant stealing.
So this would make our congressional representation even less representative of the American people, and in this case, very much less representative of Hoosiers.
Still, Rokita believes not only is redistricting justified, but legal.
And what about just simply, there's the marketplace of ideas. You want to win the midterms, Republicans already control Congress, win your elections again.
Because our representation in D.C. is diluted right now by politicians in other states that are, in fact, gaming the system.
Now, to be clear, the governor still has to call a special session for redistricting to be considered. And he said he won't do that unless state lawmakers ask him to. Rokita says he's not spoken to any lawmakers about this issue and has not consulted with others attorneys general on how they plan to approach redistricting in other states. In studio, Tim Spears for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
National news now, new on Daybreak. The jobs report just came out from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It shows employers added 22,000 jobs last month. That's worse than analysts expected, indicating the labor market continues to cool. Unemployment rate rose to 4.3%. Numbers are short of the payroll report ADP put out yesterday. Report said that private employment rose by 54,000 jobs last month. The new report is the first since President Trump fired the head of Bureau of Labor Statistics in the aftermath of a poor report. The Health and Human Services Secretary in the hot seat on Capitol Hill, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., defended his work yesterday in a Senate testimony as some lawmakers called for his resignation. Karen Kafa reports.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. defending his decision to fire the director of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
We need bold, competent, and creative new leadership at CDC. People able and willing to chart a new course.
The hearing before the Senate Finance Committee was scheduled to focus on the Trump administration's 2026 healthcare agenda. But on the heels of Kennedy's ouster of former CDC Director Susan Monarez, Democrats quickly slammed his leadership and his longtime claims against vaccines and how that undermines public trust.
Sir, you're a charlatan. That's what you are. You're the ones who conflate chronic disease with the need for vaccines.
Two Republican physicians expressing concern about the Trump administration's changes to vaccine policy. John Barrasso of Wyoming saying Kennedy isn't upholding vaccine standards as promised during confirmation.
The public has seen measles outbreaks, leadership in the National Institute of Health questioning the use of mRNA vaccines. Americans don't know who to rely on.
Bill Cassidy of Louisiana critical of new FDA limits on COVID-19 vaccines.
I would say effectively we're denying people vaccine.
Kennedy argued current policy doesn't deny anyone a COVID-19 booster, although it is now state dependent, and he defended his controversial moves to reshape government public health agencies.
If we don't end this chronic disease, we are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at CDC. They did not do their job.
On Capitol Hill, I'm Karen Kafa.
Sports now. Caitlin Clark is out for the rest of the regular season and the playoffs, if they make it to it. The team announced the news about the superstar late last night. And the Fever says that the groin injury she's battled since July and the bone bruise in her ankle that she suffered more recently will keep her sidelined. Fever stand 8th in the WNBA and need to stay there to make it to the postseason. Indiana is 1.5 games ahead of Los Angeles. Sparks have 4 games left. Indiana has 3. Both play tonight. Indiana hosts Chicago at 7:30 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Wish TV is your home for the best high school football coverage in the state. This week, Ben Davis, the Giants, host Pike, the Red Devils. It's tonight on our sister station, MyIndy TV 23. After, tune to Wish TV for The Zone. We cover 22 local high school football games. Kickoff for the Colts season is Sunday. The season starts against the Dolphins at Lucas Oil Stadium. Colin Bailey spent the morning on the sidelines with plans for today, tomorrow, and game day. As you listen to this report, the most memorable part is at the very end.
To Sunday with the canal dying, with the 5K run. Talk about all that with fans getting involved before game day kicks off.
Yeah, we're very excited about this weekend. It's opening weekend. Today's Blue Friday. We're going to have our team mascot Blue, who everyone in this city absolutely loves. He's going to be down at the canal, dyeing the canal Colts blue. You know, this is the kind of an annual tradition we have for kickoff. So he's going to be down there. And then tomorrow here at the stadium, we have the Colts 5K and Blues Fun Run for families and kids to get some exercise, see downtown, and then they get to end their race here on the 50-yard line. And then, of course, on Sunday we get to induct our late owner and CEO Jim Irsay into the Ring of Honor in front of all of these fans, and it's going to be a great moment to remember his legacy.
And talk a little bit about that on Sunday. Obviously, it's going to happen at halftime. There's going to be shirts lining all these seats out here as well, a special shirt for those coming to the game.
Yeah, every fan will have a For the Boss T-shirt. That's what we used to call him around the office, was the boss man. And so every fan will have a T-shirt honoring his legacy. It's a great T-shirt. I think people are going to enjoy it. And then at halftime, we're going to have this great ceremony. A lot of our former players are coming back to honor Mr. Irsay, and we can't wait to share that moment with our fans.
What are you looking forward to on Sunday? It's a busy weekend. I know football gets back, but obviously it's important to honor Mr. Irsay as well.
Yeah, it's very important to honor Mr. Irsay, but what he would have wanted us to do was to honor him and then move on to football. That was what his life was about. He loved football. He loved the NFL, and he would tell all of us to, hey, get out there and go win this game. And so that's what we're all looking forward to playing for him and hopefully getting a win on Sunday.
And it's Blue Friday. What time can we see Blue dye the canal?
Blue's going to be right around noon, and so there may be some fans out there. We're not sure or not, but he'll be out there at noon, and the canal will be Colts blue for opening week.
A lot going on. Football's back here in Indy. Blue, best mascot in all of sports. Blue got me. 1 p.m. though. We'll get things kicked off on Sunday right here at Lucas Oil Stadium. For now, here at Lucas Oil Stadium, I'm Colin Bailey for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
And if you couldn't tell just by listening, Colin got pied in the face. This has been your News 8 Daily. From Wish TV, I'm Hannah Mordeau. Wish TV and WishTV.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at WishTV.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.